Sue, I know we've talked in the past about autistic nonverbal communication, and as a speech pathologist, it is really difficult to know what our clients or students are understanding or read their nonverbal communication and get it right. And we did have a teacher share that that was her biggest challenge, is knowing that her autistic students are fully understanding what she's teaching them. So since it is back to school time, what indicators, or how should people read nonverbal communication from autistics? What does it, how do we read it?
And this is what's interesting is that neurotypical people rely on nonverbal cues from their communication partners all the time.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, they depend at least 80%, they feel that's true. They can tell when someone isn't telling the truth or is trying to hide the truth or whatever it is because of their nonverbal, their tone of voice, their um, gestures, how much they look away, all of those nonverbal things. But you do it on a subconscious level. You're not really acutely aware of what you're looking for. You just intuitively do it.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the problem, is that because autistics, um, we don't do subtle, which is what you're used to reading subtle signs. Well, we
Mm-hmm.
don't do subtle. We tend to exaggerate. So now you're seeing what you subconsciously perceive as exaggerated actions, responses, reactions. And you don't know how to interpret it because it doesn't look like subconsciously what you're used to seeing in a typical person that you would recognize. It's all subconscious.
Yeah.
So, yes, it's going to take some conscious effort on your part, but we make it absolutely so obvious because we do it to an extreme that when I scream, I mean, excuse me, how could you not interpret that as I'm upset?
Mm-hmm.
But instead of asking me, I see you're upset. What's happening? Let's problem solve. Instead, you react to the fact that I'm overreacting. I'm screaming. No, no,
Mm-hmm.
stop that. Let's use your words. Calm down. That's your response.
Yeah.
And is that helping communication? No. Is that helping me self regulate? No. So you are reading, but you're misinterpreting.
Mm-hmm.
From your perspective, that's too much.
Mm-hmm.
And yet, and I found in working with my autistic clients that if I exaggerate, they can read my nonverbal language. They can read nonverbal language, but it has to be what they're familiar with, which is an exaggerated nonverbal cue.
So when we're seeing the exaggerated, we have to take it as that, not that. And you're right. I hate that. Calm down. Use like that is not helpful whatsoever.
No.
So if we see that exaggerated response, we just know, hey, something's off, something's wrong, something's going
Yeah.
on. But what about on the flip side, if, like this teacher talked about when she's teaching something and we're not getting any
Any response.
response, how
Okay.
do we interpret that?
Well, again, no response is an exaggerated response.
Mm,
Um, we don't know what to do. So we do nothing.
yeah.
We're confused. And that's how it should be interpreted.
Okay.
Oh, I see you're not sure what to do or say. You must be confused. Did I not make any sense to you? That's a problem. Let's solve it.
Hmm.
Maybe if I show you, would that make more sense? Oh, okay. Yeah.
Hmm.
Interpret they're exaggerated as an exaggerated response that says either I get it or I don't get it.
Yeah.
Um, and deal with it for what we are trying to communicate instead of how we communicate it.
Yeah. No, I really like that because it is that makes so much sense with our responses. And unfortunately, our responses are not helpful. So shifting that mindset to we see the extreme response. We're not going to say calm down. It will be something like, wow, I see you're really excited, or something along those lines. Or
Mhm.
I see, wow, your body's moving a lot and you're yelling. Are you mad? Are you scared? And like you've said before, labeling some feelings and
Mhm.
see what is going on. And then it always goes back to problem solving. So I love that. And I think that'll be really helpful for teachers to tune into those extremes, whether it is an outburst extreme or a quiet extreme of maybe they're not getting it, and doing kind of a check-in to see if the information
Mhm.
is making sense, or offering that option to show, which we know always is helpful as well.
Sure. Because if I fail to make a response, do you know what the typical response is? Oh, well, come on, I'm waiting.
Hmm.
Now you're going to make me anxious. Oh my God, now, not only do I not know what to say, but now she's putting me under a time thing. And now she's going to be mad at me because I'm not coming up with something fast enough.
Right.
So I'm going to go into deeper freeze, or I may go into the reaction of trying to escape,
Yep.
run away. This
Yep.
situation is intolerable. She's put me between a rock and a hard place.
Yep.
It's consider the fact that the way you are reacting to their nonverbal cues is what's causing the problem.
Yep. So I like you mentioned those other things, because in the link below, I will put our video on elopement because that will occur, as well as the strategies of using visuals as a check-in or preparing. So that way the student is prepared for the questions that you ask, and hopefully you won't get that blank look. So perfect. All of this loops back together, and hopefully these strategies and tools will help all you teachers out there this year.
Hey, thank you.
Thanks. Thanks, Sue.